let's move on to talking about the FIFA World Cup as it is in full stride. Effectively, we're officially entering the most chaotic part of the FIFA World Cup, and we weren't able to really talk about the World Cup over the last couple of days because we didn't have a pod on Friday, and that was because we were all occupied with stuff that we had to do. And so I think I want to talk a little bit about what happened over the last week, and also going into match week 3, what are the most chaotic scenarios that are going to show us who goes into the round of 32. You know, the first 2 match days are in the books. We've seen some statement wins. We've seen some shocking results. Breakout stars, and a few traditional powers already stumble, but now everything changes. Match week 3 isn't just about winning games, it's about surviving. It's about every goal, every yellow card, every tiebreaker scenario, as I said, could determine who goes to the round of 32. And today, again, I'm going to look at some of the stuff that happened in the past week, and also what this bracket could shape out as we go into the final match week. Let's start by talking about Group D and the United States locking up Group D with their 2-0 win over the Aussies. The USA becomes one of the first teams to officially win its group. Back-to-back victories over Paraguay and Australia were big for this team, and that essentially did lock up this group for them. And I think the defensive performance in this game, especially against Australia, was just as impressive as the attack when you talk about that 2-0 victory. Pochettino's side looked really organized and confident and comfortable under pressure, and I think it really sent a message through the rest of the tournament that the hosts are legitimate contenders to go far in this tournament. Looking at some individual player performances, I thought Alex Freeman looked really good in this game. Obviously, he got the second goal, which absolutely blew the roof off of the Lumen. I was going to say Lumen Superdome. That's not a Superdome. Blew the roof off of Lumen Field in Seattle. That's his first goal ever in the FIFA World Cup. First goal ever in his career in the FIFA World Cup. And that is a moment for Alex Freeman for how hard he has worked for this team over the last calendar year. But I think beyond the goal, I think he was defensively amazing. Locked down Jordan Boss on that left side, who I think is one of the best left backs in this group, if not the best left back. I personally think Anthony Robinson is the best, but Jordan Boss is really good. He's one of the best left backs in this tournament, and for him to not really have that much of an impact on that left side, I think it's a testament to Serginho Dest and Alex Freeman on defending him as well as they did. I thought that the interplay on that wing between Weston McKennie, Alex Freeman, and Serginho Dest was amazing. It's been amazing for the last 2 games, and while it didn't directly provide any goals, they were so dangerous and really pulled a lot of the defenders away from the center of the field of the Australian side to that left side of their defense, right side of our offense. On the flip side, Anthony Robinson putting in a shift, and Flo Balogun was responsible for the first goal, as him and Pepe were interchanging on that wing with the injury to Pulisic. They were interchanging on that wing, even though they were playing that 2-striker system, and that's how they got the first goal. Flo Balogun receives the ball on that wing, speeds past the defender, bombs down into the box, and that pressure allowed for an own goal, which I even think, if that was even deflected backwards, Serginho Dest was right there, and so I'm not going to necessarily sit here and be like they didn't deserve the goal. And then I think for the final point I want to point out in this one, Ricardo Pepi coming in for Christian Pulisic, and Pochettino going for a different type of formation and different type of style with the 2-striker system against this 5-back really worked out amazing. Worked wonders for this team. You know, even a lot of people, even I, thought that there was probably going to be more of a like-for-like change for Christian Pulisic if he were to be injured and out for this game, whether that be an Alejandro Zendejas or a Brendan Aronson or a Giovanni Reina or a Timothy Weah coming in as that attacking midfielder, but that can also still, you know, move out to that left wing. And I think it was a brilliant move by Pochettino to go for Ricardo Pepi because that strained that Australian center back trio to really focus on two guys versus one, how they would usually do. They were going up against one striker in that Türkiye game, and that was a stroke of brilliance by Pochettino in this one. And now you go into this Türkiye game with nothing to play for, and I think you rest the guys that are on yellow cards, and those guys are massive for this team. Tyler Adams, Fuller and Balogun, Chris Richards, and Anthony Robinson, arguably four of your top five most important players on this team. I think they need to not play in this one. I would like to see Pulisic if he is healthy. I think the time between game one of the group stage to the round of 32 game is a little bit too long and you'd probably lose your momentum. And so I think that it's imperative that he plays at least 30 to 45 minutes in this one. But everybody else on the yellow card, I think, shouldn't play. Beyond that, I think everybody that is left. So that's Freeze, Ream, that'd be Dest, McKennie, Tillman, and I'm missing one, and Freeman. Those six guys, I think, should stay and play. I don't think you rotate the entire team, but I think you rotate those guys. So I think you'll see a partially rotated team as they try and get 9 points, which the United States have never gotten 9 points in a group in World Cup history. I think they're going to try and make some history in this World Cup. I would not expect to see a fully rotated roster against a Türkiye team that has lost a lot of juice. They've lost a lot of juice over these last couple of days as I try and fix my hat. They've lost a lot of stamina over these last couple of days. The two defensive teams really hurt them. The blocks of Paraguay and Australia really hurt them. And I think that's a good segue to go into my next point with Paraguay eliminating Türkiye with their 1-0 victory on Thursday, I believe it was. Paraguay, bouncing back from that 4-1 loss to the United States was crucial, and I thought it would happen, but it was a defensive masterclass under pressure, and Türkiye became the second team to be eliminated from this tournament, but the first notable elimination, and Paraguay now controls its own destiny heading into match day 3 with a matchup against Australia. And I thought that regardless of what happened in match day 1 against the United States, they were going to be much more, I think, dangerous versus a Türkiye team that isn't as athletic as the United States are. And they popped a goal in early, right? Galarza with in the second minute. It's the fastest goal of this tournament so far. And once they went down, once they went down, I understood that this is really dangerous for them because they had 30 plus shots against Australia, could not break them down. They had 30 shots plus in this game too. 62 shots total and 0 goals. That is an absolute scam of an offense, if I do say so myself. The likes of Kenan Yildiz and Arda Güler and Hakan Çalhanoğlu in that midfield, they are big-time players that play at big-time clubs like Real Madrid and Inter and Juve. But you need a team around this, and I think that's what a lot of people who picked Türkiye to win this group didn't recognize. And beyond that, they don't have a striker, like a true number 9. This team has not had. And you can blame the manager, you can blame the surrounding factors, but I think in this specific situation, you need to blame the Turkish players. This is an absolute horrendous moment within their history. You wait 24 plus years, 24 years actually, to get back to this tournament. In a tournament where you can advance as a third place team, and you lose your first 2 games and you're eliminated from the tournament. I think it's an absolute horrible situation for the Turkish players, and they're going to play for their pride against the United States, as they are already eliminated and the United States have really nothing to play for. I find it very difficult to see where this game could play out. I'm leaning draw between these two teams because the United States are probably going to rest a lot of players. They're going to rotate their roster, but they're still going to try and win the game versus the Turkish team, who I think is still going to try and play for something against a defense that's going to be a lot more open than Australia versus Paraguay. So I think you could see probably 1 or 2 goals from both teams in this game. I'm seeing either a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 victory for the USA. But the Turkish team, I mean, that is the biggest elimination so far that we've seen in this tournament. Another thing I want to bring up, goalkeepers, massive in this tournament. Eloy Room, Virginia in that first match week, Alireza Berenvand in the match against Belgium. All of these guys are coming up huge for their specific countries. Eloy Room, massive reason why Curacao earned their point against Ecuador. Made several crucial saves to keep the match scoreless and was one save away from tying the all-time FIFA World Cup single game saves record. He has the record for most saves in a 90-minute game with 15, so props to Eloy Room as he goes into the history books. Virginia in that first game, even the game against Uruguay, he had a couple of big stops, helped frustrate both of those teams, Spain and Uruguay, and he is one of the biggest reasons why Cape Verde remains alive going into match week 3, and I think this is a chance for the Cape Verde team to make a knockout stage because they are playing Saudi Arabia. And then Alireza Berenvand shut out Belgium, huge 0-0 draw. He continues to be one of the most reliable goalkeepers for this Iranian team in their history. And I think for a moment where they drew New Zealand, I thought that was a lost moment because they could have got 3 points and set themselves up really well to go in advance to the knockout stage, which they've never done. And I thought that was kind of the nail in the coffin, but they went out and got another point against Belgium. And so now you go into the final match week against Egypt with the possibility to win that game and possibly win the group, depending on what happens in that Belgium-New Zealand game. And I think New Zealand will be a tough opponent for the Belgian national team because they are not looking as good as they can be. And in a tournament where the stars have been getting the headlines, I think the goalkeepers are also earning points single-handedly almost in these sort of scenarios. Segueing a little bit over to the two teams that were stopped by Room and Virginia, or not Virginia, Berenvand. Which team, and I'll pose this question to you guys, which team was the bigger disappointment in this tournament so far? Is it Ecuador or is it Belgium? Ecuador entered with dark horse expectations. They lost to Ivory Coast. They drew Curacao 0-0, and just 1 point through 2 matches, with Germany being their last match. They're going to have to beat Germany and get into the knockout stages in that way. I think it's a very difficult task, especially even though Germany has nothing to play for in that final stage. I think that this could prove to be a massive L for the Ecuadorian, and not just Ecuador, CONMEBOL as well. I think that this is going to be a massive L for them as well. Belgium, on the other hand, they drew Egypt 1-1. They drew Iran 0-0, yet to score from open play. Their only goal has been an own goal from the Egyptians, and this golden generation feels completely gone at this point. If I had to lean one direction, I would personally say Ecuador. I think Belgium has underperformed, but Ecuador looks lifeless. They just have not been able to score a goal from open play. So many shots, and I think they are on that Turkey trend where Turkey is eliminated now, but Ecuador is still alive. But I just don't trust this team to get any goals, regardless of how many opportunities they have from open play. I think Ecuador is, as a nation, a soccer nation, has hurt its reputation a little bit more, especially as Latri was building a little bit of momentum. They got second place in the CONMEBOL qualifying behind Argentina. They beat the likes of Brazil and Argentina. And so this is a very disappointing World Cup for them. We'll see if they can shock the world and beat a rotated Germany team. But even then, I think it'll be tough for any round of 32 team to play this Ecuadorian team, but I still don't believe that they'll be clinical enough to beat anybody like a Norway or like a team like England or something, right? Germany and Ivory Coast was in that same group, and that game was an absolute banger. One of the best matches of the tournament. Ivory Coast really proved they belong with the elite nations in this tournament, and the Germans, I should say, were pushed for a full 90 minutes. Yan Diomande and Amad Diallo continued to shine, and Germany really showed mentality by finding a way to win after being tested down 1-0. I think it was a lost point by the Ivorians. I think that they could have earned a point from this game, and they sadly didn't. They had a golden opportunity with Simon Adingra in that 90th minute to take the lead. He didn't take it first time, and Denny Zundav made them pay on the opposite end in the 94th minute. Sad reality, but they go into the final match week, I should say, facing Curaçao, and I think that should be a winnable game for the Ivorians as they head into the knockout stages, hopefully, in the future. The stars of this tournament are continuing to shine. Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland are on a crash course to fight for the Golden Boot until the end of this tournament. 5 goals for Messi, continuing to score on the biggest stage. He added another chapter to an incredible World Cup legacy, and now is the record holder for most goals in World Cups. Kylian Mbappe, he is the spearhead of this spear for France. They're dangerous every time they touch the ball, and he remains one of the favorites for this Golden Boot. I think he's probably a bigger favorite than Messi, in my opinion, because I think that France has the opportunity to put up higher scores against teams that are facing up against them versus Argentina, which I think, sure, a lot of their goals are coming through Messi, but they're not scoring as much as the French are. And then Erling Haaland, the Norwegian attack, I was a little bit skeptical about Norway coming into this tournament and seeing they don't have some tournament pedigree, but that's actually worked out really well for them. And now they are going to play France for the right to win this group. I think it's Group I, if I'm not mistaken. I might be totally wrong about that, but to win this group, and if Erling Haaland is able to win this group against France and Senegal, with this Norwegian team that I think has a pretty, I would say, pedestrian back line, that is going to be an achievement that is going to be on his, his end of career list when it comes to that. I think through all the surprise and chaos, all 3 of these guys, the superstars are still doing superstar things, and I would like to see who wins this Golden Boot come the end of this tournament. Is it going to be Messi, Mbappe, or Haaland, or is it going to be maybe a surprise like Harry Kane? Harry Kane is also on 2 goals, and he's going to play against Ghana this upcoming day. So that will be some question to see. Some matchups to watch in match week 3. This is going to be massive for the knockout stages and who progresses. So Canada versus Switzerland is going to be for the group. Who's going to win the group? So right now, Canada is winning the group based off of goal difference. If Canada were to win or draw this game, they are going to win Group B. And if Switzerland win, they will win Group B. The Group B winner is going to face a 3rd place team, and the Group B runner-up is going to play the 2nd place in Group A, which is going to most likely be South Korea. And I think I would rather face a 3rd place team than South Korea. South Korea is a really good team. I think they can present some issues for both of these teams, but I think it would be a better thing for whoever it is to win this game. Unlike some other groups, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Group C is coming down to the wire. Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland are going to all battle for Group C supremacy into the last match day. Brazil currently lead the group through goal difference, but a tough matchup with Scotland could see them trip up. Morocco is right behind Brazil on GD, but they play Haiti. With being on the same points, a draw head-to-head would be terrible for the Moroccans. Morocco winning by multiple goals, though, that could easily see them through as the winners of Group C. And Scotland would need a loss or a draw from Morocco v Haiti, and they would need to beat Brazil to win Group C. So that's kind of the permutations of how everything should fall out. 3 possible group winners in this one. And the round of 32 matchups, regardless of where they land, is going to be a difficult task. Group C is matched up with Group F, which have Japan, Netherlands, and possibly Sweden in there. And so that is going to be a tough draw for any of these teams. But I think Morocco winning this group against Brazil would be such a great achievement for them. Brazil, I think they really need to get some momentum going into this knockout stage where they've struggled over the last couple of World Cups. and they could struggle again, especially against the Netherlands if they are being clinical as they were in that Sweden game. Australia versus Paraguay. I'm going to this game. This is going to be for the runner-up in Group D. Australia, if they win or draw, they're going to advance in second place. And if Paraguay win, they will advance in second place. The round of 32 matchup for the second place team in Group D is going to be the second place in Group G. And that is a favorable matchup for any of these teams. I'm not going to say that they're going to be the favorites, but it could be a matchup where both of these teams would be looking to say, we can win this game. It'll be the second place in Iran, Belgium, New Zealand, and Egypt. And currently it's Iran right now, but Belgium is playing New Zealand, and they could run up the score and possibly win that game. As I was just looking over here because Portugal is playing Uzbekistan, and Ronaldo has scored a brace. So, good for him, man. I was really hoping he could put a marker in this game because of the noise that's surrounding him. But shout out to Ronaldo, man. That I am pro Messi. I think Messi's the GOAT, but I love Cristiano Ronaldo, and I really want to see him thrive in this tournament. And seeing him score a brace against Uzbekistan, shout out to him, man. But anyways, back to where we were. I think that would be Australia and Paraguay would look at that game regardless of opponent and say, we can win this game. And so I think it's important for both these teams. I think if both of these teams were to draw, both of them would advance. And so that could also be an interesting aspect of this game. Do both teams take the foot off the gas and try and advance with a draw? That could also be a thing, but I think both these teams will look to get a win because a third place, you're probably playing like a France or a Germany or, one of these elite teams in the round of 32 come the knockout stages. Group F, talked about it a little bit because they are similar to Group C where three teams are battling, and Netherlands, Japan, and Sweden are going to battle for Group F. Netherlands is going to play Tunisia, which will likely see Netherlands win Group F, and that means the matchup is going to be the second place between Morocco, Brazil, and Scotland. And for their sake, I think they're going to hope that it's Scotland because Morocco and Brazil are going to be a tough matchup, but I think they still would look to win that game. Sweden and Japan is going to be for second place, most likely. Second place is also going to be Group C. So I don't think that this matchup, these matchups in Group F are going to be that big because the round of 32 matchup is going to be difficult regardless. And so I think Japan is going to win this game against Sweden. Sweden let the goal difference slip versus Netherlands, and a big loss here could prove to be lethal for their chances to get a third place advancement. And so they're going to have to come out and play really well against a Japanese team that, granted, they have a lot of injuries, but they are playing very well right now. They dispatched Tunisia 4-0. They had a really good 2-2 draw against the Netherlands in Matchweek 1. So I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Sweden, but Sweden could get second place as well with a win against the Japanese. Quickly, just going over some other big matchups. Group G, Egypt, Iran, Belgium, and New Zealand. Everything could switch in this group. New Zealand can't win the group, but Egypt, Iran, and Belgium can all win the group in this permutation. So that will be super fun to watch. This group, I should say, has been chaos. And the other group that has been chaos is Group H. So Spain is going to win the group with a win versus Uruguay. Cabo Verde can get second with an Uruguay loss plus a win. Saudi Arabia can do the same if they beat Cabo Verde and Uruguay lose, which is very likely to me personally. They can also get second place. Everything is going back to Uruguay is in a very tough spot. They have to beat Spain or at least get a result against a Spanish team that is going to want a result. And that's where I think they are going to falter. Uruguay is not going to see a team in Spain that is going to be rested. They're going to be trying to go on the front foot and win this game. And that bodes very badly for the Uruguayans, who I think are going to get knocked out come next match week. Group I, Norway, France, I talked about it earlier. That's going to be for the group winner. And the Senegalese need a good win against the Iraqis to progress. They've dropped some games against France and Norway. The Norway game, their defense looked terrible. And I think Kalidou Koulibaly, shout out to him. Amazing career, but I think it's time to go. I think he'll go into the sunset, and they're going to look for some other defenders in this Iraq game because Iraq can be a little bit of a tough team to break down. Obviously, with Norway and France's offense, they were able to score multiple goals against them, but the Senegalese offense is not looking amazing, right? And they are going to have to muster up some great offense if they want to, progress in this scenario. They're on a -3 GD, so I think they would have to at least win 3 goals, maybe even 4 to be really safe when it comes to the third place permutations. Group J, Argentina, they locked up progress, but Algeria via Austria is sitting in a similar situation where they are going to be battling for second place. Both teams are on 3 points, and I believe Algeria would be on a -2 GD, while Austria is on a 0, a flat GD. So Algeria, they need the win, and Austria can get a draw. Now, interesting, the second place in this group is most likely going to play Spain, and the third place in this group will probably have a much easier matchup, and both of these teams actually would probably be, it would be better for them to lose. This match is going to be very weird to me personally, because Algeria and Austria, the inclination is to win, but a third place with the 3 points or even a 4 points could bode better for the Algerians or the Austrians if they were to get third. So that is the weird matchup I was talking about. And then Group K and L, we'll get a better understanding after today. Portugal is currently leading 3-0. Shout out to Cristiano Ronaldo. I love him, man. Even though I'm still Messi's a GOAT, as I said, but I love Cristiano, and so to see him getting the love after this game will be a good sight. And yeah, that's the World Cup, update. We'll be back on Friday to kind of go over what has happened in Matchweek 3. We'll see a little bit more of the round of 32 matchups beginning to take fold, and we'll start getting our predictions out soon. So that is the FIFA World Cup. I am going to be so excited to see who wins this game between England and Ghana, as they both sit on 3 points.